Welcome to Stop Wasting Your Wine, a wine review podcast where we waste our wine so you don't have to. On this episode, we review
a red wine from California.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Aaron here, joined by Colin and Joel. And we have a brand new guest host. I am excited to introduce our friend Matt, or known online on Instagram as the Wine Sergeant. Matt, how are you? Welcome to the pod.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I want to start off by saying congratulations on all the success you guys have had with your podcast. It's really great to see the growth and development of the podcast. So.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and like Matt would notice that because Matt has been one of like the first people we were like talking to on like
so
when
true.
we started this thing a couple years ago. And
Exactly,
so like
yeah.
we've honestly we've been saying for a long time that we wanted to have you on the show because you have been such an awesome supporter and like sharing our stuff and interacting with us. So like we're just super excited to have you.
And I'll say too, been fun watching your community grow and your content grow with ours too. So it's been so fun. I feel like, you know, us doing this together has been a very long time coming. So excited that we're finally doing it.
Oh, totally agree.
I
I
am
made
great
a lot
community.
of
I am
Great
friends
community.
through this
Envious
venture.
of your like
been
wine Instagram hustle. Like I feel like every time I look at your Instagram, like you've like shared someone's post or you've like commented on someone else's or you're interacting with someone. I'm just like, man, you are like on it.
I try to be. So. I have more time now that I'm retired, so
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
mean,
a
fantastic.
lot more time. So.
we're gonna take a little time before we get in the wine today to kind of
Sure.
introduce you to the crowd. So you're retired, Matt. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Retired from what, sir?
So I'm born and raised in Rhode Island. Lived here my whole life. I live with my beautiful wife, Tara, my two kids, John Peyton and Juliana. I just recently retired after 26 years with the Air Force, serving for the 143rd Airlift Wing. So now on to new ventures. Wine's always been a passion for me. And going back to listening about stories, my great-grandfather, Fortunato Travellini, everybody called him Lucky. He would make his own homemade red wine, white wine,
Oh.
and then he'd let a barrel go to vinegar each year. So I never got to meet him, never got to partake in that. My dad and grandfather never dabbled in winemaking, but I took it on myself and my son in 2015 to start making our own homemade wine.
Oh, that's awesome.
So 2016, we decided to enter the Winemaker Magazine International Amateurs Competition and totally forgot we entered it. 4 months later, we get the results in the mail along with 2 bronze medals for our 2 entries.
Oh,
So
no.
That's
success
amazing.
right away. So
Good for you.
pretty exciting. Yeah.
I had no idea
and
about
then-
that part.
The same here.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then my son enjoyed it so much, we kept it up till 2022. So in that 7-year stretch, we won a total of 8 medals, 1 gold, 2 silver, and 5 bronze.
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So
Did you name any of your wines after? Was it your grandfather, or your great grandfather?
no, I didn't. I kept it simple. At one time, before I created the persona of Wine Sergeant, I used Happy Lion because my last name in Italian means lion. So I wanted to make a play on that. So that's what we used to call it, Happy Lion, and then whatever type of wine, Merlot, peach, whatever we are making. So
What were you
that's-
making? What was your focus there?
all over the map. Like I said, we tried Merlot, we did a peach, we did a cranberry. What else did I do? Sauvignon Blanc, I
Cool.
think I made. I will be honest with you, I didn't do the crushing and the de-stemming. I started with the juice, so I got called a cheater a lot from my coworkers and stuff. So I had to live that down,
That's
but
fine. What wine are they making? Like, come
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they all wanted it though. You got any of that homemade wine? So yeah.
Let me ask,
Exactly.
how strong was that homemade wine? Because someone gave me a bottle of homemade Jersey wine a couple months ago, and
Yep.
I think I slept for like a day afterwards because it was not a light wine.
No, I want to say I was like between the 12 and 14. I
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
Reasonable.
anything more than that. So
Smart.
yeah.
All right, no, that's good. because
So
homemade
your
wine.
friends were just
spooky.
trying to get you messed up, Aaron. I think that's
It was a stranger actually. So I don't even know. I don't want to talk about this anymore. All right, so no, well, very cool. Like, didn't even know that part. So that, I mean, that just fills a huge gap because, you know, one, thank you for your service. That's amazing. And like, so cool that you now get to do this, you know, for the folks that are listening at home and not watching, like, Matt, you're sitting in your basement because you are converting a part of your basement into a wine. Are you doing like a wine cellar, a wine pantry? Like, how big you going?
I'm calling it a wine room.
Nice.
I have this big table like you see in Tuscan vineyards from my grandfather. So I'm going to set that in the middle of the room. So more of a room for people to gather and drink wine and enjoy it. Not so much a
Awesome.
cellar.
That's awesome.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. I can't wait to show you guys the finished product.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been following the journey on Instagram. I can't wait either.
Thank you. Appreciate
Hey,
that.
oh, yeah. Next time we have you on the pod and it's all finished, you're gonna have like the best background out of eyes. I have all my like crappy toy.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna
That's
look
gonna be
great.
awesome.
I will share my ultimate goal though is to have my own wine brand. There's two reasons I want to do that. One is to leave a legacy for my son that he can carry on, and two, so I can give back to veterans and veteran causes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's my ultimate goal. That's where I see myself in 2 years.
Very cool.
Very cool. So getting back into the wine making process as well. Is that what you're thinking, Matt?
I don't. I just want to manage the brand. I want to have somebody else make the wine. Yeah. If I can go that route. I started all the research for it, started making avenues and speaking with people. So
very cool.
We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, another journey to follow too. That's so cool. You know, I hope you keep everybody up to date on that as well, because I'd love to just hear kind of how that goes too. Just the story, what goes into managing a wine brand. I think that would be awesome.
Definitely do that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so cool. You retire from like this really awesome, you know, career, and now you get to start this secondary, very awesome, like, I'm not gonna be able to retire till I'm dead. So like that's like really. I'm like very.
That's what my wife always says. She's a school teacher, so it's the rule of 90. She has to, her number of years in retirement and then number of years teaching have to equal 90 in order to retire with her pension.
I am also in education, so this is just a sad truth. This is just what happens.
Yeah. So for me, being in the military, I see it as closing a chapter and going on to a new chapter.
Yeah.
So
that's great. Awesome.
Totally.
Well, this is going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get into it. We have a great episode ahead. We're obviously all going to chop it up the entire time. Colin is going to teach us a little bit today about what, Colin?
Oak barrels. A little bit about oak aging. I figured this wine might have some oak on it. So, you know, I figured maybe we'd learn a little bit about that.
I wouldn't have guessed that, and I'm excited.
Exciting. Yeah.
That's really great. Yeah, we're gonna try this wine out. We're gonna play a little pick your poison, and it's gonna be a good time. So, Joel, can you tell us a little bit about what we're drinking today?
Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. So today, you might have seen it on the shelves, folks. This should be a pretty familiar one to a lot of you. But today we are going to be drinking the Educated Guess Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a 2022. This is from Napa. It's got an ABV of 12.5%. Varying price points for the folks on this call here. I think I picked up mine for about $25. I think Aaron, you got it for about 20 where you were, or maybe Colin. Did
no,
you?
I was 25, but it flips the other way.
20?
If I bought it from the grocery store, it was going to cost me $30. It was 25 at Total Wine. So there was a big swing depending on where you get it.
Apologies. Okay. All right. So 25-ish.
Well, I paid the grocery store tax.
There you go. So find it for 25. If you see it for 30, go to the next place.
Yeah, it was 25 for me as well.
And find it for $25.
100%. I wish I feel kind of cheated now, to be honest. I mean, man, that's $5 extra.
But the moral here is that this thing is everywhere.
It is everywhere, and it does have a very cool, label on there, like molecule written out with all the symbols and stuff. I don't know exactly what it all means, but it looks really cool.
I'm a sucker for this, man.
Yeah.
I am such a sucker for marketing. This is such a cool
gotcha.
bottle. Like, if we've learned nothing else, it's like the label doesn't matter. But like, man, this is a cool label.
It's an eye catcher, that's
It
for
is.
sure.
It is
Not that it
nice.
doesn't matter, but it's still cool. I love when a label is cool and creative.
It's
you know?
I love like the black on black
Yeah.
with it's really
Oh, like
good.
it's a chalkboard. Like it's a chalkboard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's a chalkboard.
That just fell down in my head right there. How about that?
Joel gets it.
There you go. So awesome. So this was actually, normally we do like someone picks. This honestly came down to, we have Matt on the show. We're super excited. So we had to find a wine that could be grabbed in Florida, that could be grabbed in Jersey, and could be grabbed in Rhode Island. And so we narrowed down to a few. This seemed like the best bet. So we truly are reviewing a wine today that anybody can get their hands on. So it will be really exciting if this is a quality $25 wine, because it is just something that anyone can put on their list and know that it's probably near them if they need if you want a cab. So that being said, should we get into it? Have our first experience?
Let's do it.
I just,
Cool. All right, let's stick our
I
noses
want to
in.
call out here too. This could be, it wasn't all that long ago that we did another really accessible wine, and we were pleasantly surprised by, what was it? Refresh my memory.
Is the Chianti Classico, right? The Rafina?
Oh yeah, yeah. We did the Whispering Angel.
Thank you so much. I couldn't think
Which
of
is
it.
also everywhere.
Also everywhere. We were
So-
pleasantly surprised, and I just want to call out, we might have an okay run of finding some pretty good wines that are super, super accessible here. I'm hoping. So let's see.
And that's always good. I had a buddy of mine call me a couple weeks ago to ask me for a couple wine recommendations as he was walking around his wine shop, and almost literally nothing that I named was available to him. Because I was like, oh, you should try, like, all the stuff we do on our show. I'm like, oh, you should try this. You should try this. He's like, dude, none of that is here. So this will be a good step back of like more generally available stuff.
do it.
But okay, so let's get into it.
Tastes like wine.
Matt, would you like to start us off? What are you getting on the nose?
Sure. Some black cherry, I think.
For sure.
Definitely.
Black cherry and
Definitely,
plum
yeah,
for
plum.
me.
Yeah. Yep, the plum,
What about you
100%. I'm getting. That's a big one for me. Getting a little bit of that oak influence as well. Maybe a little vanilla. I will say I'm shocked just on the nose how light the oak seems to smell. I would expect out of a Napa cab, especially from this widely available, to be just an oak bomb. So pleasantly surprised by the level of oak on the nose.
I feel like there's some more. Totally agree. By the way, with the plum and the cherry for sure. I feel like there's some more fruit poking out here too. Like it's a good amount of fruit. I can't like pick out a whole, like maybe a little bit of strawberry, like some old strawberry in there.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. I wasn't going to say old strawberry because I'm not pretending I know what the difference is, but I feel like
I
strawberries.
mean, just like
definitely a
like we
good
talk
thing.
about when it gets like a little older, a little sugary, or a little sweeter smelling.
It's already turned into a Pop-Tart.
It's on its way to Pop-Tart City. Yeah. Aaron, how about you, man? Anything else?
Nah, you guys name the three fruit that I know.
Perfect.
All right, I agree 100%. Black cherry, yep. Plum, yep. And strawberry was going to be my dark
very
horse,
fruity.
and you stole
Sorry,
it from
buddy.
me. That's okay. It's okay. I had it coming. I was last. Okay. But no, 100% agree. And you know what? One thing I'll say, when a lot of times we do these big reds, you kind of expect it to be almost high alcohol, and you expect to get that alcohol burn on the nose. And this isn't. This is like, what you said, 12 and a half. It's not a high alcohol big red.
Which is
and that's
also surprising.
yeah, it's surprising, and it's also kind of nice to like open up a big red and just get the fruit and just get a little bit of the oak
Yeah.
and not get the alcohol burny attack that we get with a lot of these big reds, which I don't hate, but it's a nice change of pace.
Can we drink it now?
All right,
Definitely.
yeah, we can drink it, I guess. Joe, why don't you start us off because you had to go last time. I don't count myself in this.
Definitely feel like we nailed it with the flavors coming through well. Less of the oakiness shoving its way in here. It's there, but not, fruit I think definitely takes center stage. And just from a body perspective, it's interesting because I was half expecting it to be like really full bodied, but it's a little bit, it's a little pulled back, a little dialed back, which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah, I think that's that 12.5% alcohol. There's just not usually, body is the main player in alcohol. There's no sugar in this wine. So that would be, the big player. So, I think because of just the lack of alcohol here, which is pleasantly surprising, you're not getting that body that you usually would out of like 14.5%, which is, from Napa or California just in general is where you usually are.
What do you think, Matt?
I feel like it lingers at the end. I don't know if you guys are getting that, but
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally. Yeah,
for me it is.
But I like what it's doing.
exactly. No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm really digging the structure of this wine. Joel and I took a couple sips before we started, and I was kind of talking. It has that kind of, it's like a little milky. I mean, that's not the most appetizing way to describe a wine, but it kind of has that. It's not a full body, but it hangs out a little bit. It's a little bit creamier.
Yeah, that's
it has really nice. Yeah, it's like a little creamier. It has tannins, but it's not like a total jaw lock of tannins. It's a nice little grip, a lot on my tongue, and kind of feel it on the teeth. I think overall structure-wise, again, especially without having like the alcohol punching you out, it's just a very balanced cab, which is kind of cool to see because we're not getting pulled in one direction or another.
I'm a little shocked. Like I'm trying
Definitely.
to put my finger on the very beginning of the sip, because to me it's brighter than I was kind of expecting it to be. Like really nicely fruity, but not in a fakey way at all. It's just like a really inviting beginning to the sip, and then it really nicely goes into the rest of it.
Yeah, a lot of berry up
Definitely,
front.
yeah. But like a nice, it's not punchy in the face, but it's there.
And it's fresh. Like the fruit is very fresh. It's not like cooked or jammy. You get that kind of almost right off the vine fresh fruit, which is really nice. Because Cab is again one of those wines that can just be, overly jammy, overly cooked fruit, especially from California where it's a little bit warmer. So this is really like, I'm shocked, to be honest. This is not, when you said Napa County Cabernet, this is not at all what I had in mind. So a pleasant surprise so far.
Awesome. Well, not to get into the review yet, as you are prone to do, Joel and Colin. Side joke, it's always me. I'm always the one that accidentally says what I feel early. Let's keep moving. I will come back and we'll revisit this again at the end to see if it opened up at all or if anything changed. Colin, teach us about barrels.
This is the only thing you will learn.
This is going to be a little bit about barrels and a little bit about how oak gets into wine in general. And I actually picked this topic because I thought this was going to be an absolute oak bomb. So I am pleasantly surprised it's not, one. And two, I thought we'd have an interesting conversation about how oaky this is. But, hopefully we'll still learn something and it'll be fun. Yeah.
It's going to be great, Colin. We're all going to learn something. We're going to laugh about it.
I know. Awesome. The planning backfired. But anyway, we haven't talked about oak in a while, so here we go. So a winemaker really has three quality tiers, I would say, of ways to add oak and oak flavor into a wine. There's the very cheap, there's kind of the middle of the road, and then the most expensive. Any guesses? We can play a little game here. Any guesses as the most expensive way of adding oak to a wine?
Wait,
Yes,
expensive?
Aaron.
I thought you were going to start with cheap, and I was excited about the cheap option. I'm assuming assuming the most expensive way is like importing oak from another country and aging it.
The barrel itself.
Yeah, aging it for a very long time.
Using a barrel.
Yeah,
that's right. Using a barrel is the most expensive way to add oak influence to a wine. So a winemaker, when you're using barrels, has a couple different options. You can use a new barrel, which is going to give a lot more of that barrel influence, or you can use an older barrel, which is primarily used for oxygen because the barrel is not 100% sealed off. So as a wine is aging in a barrel, you're still getting a little transfer of oxygen, but if it's an older barrel, you're not necessarily getting those toasty barrel notes. And then you also have three different types of oak that is generally used. You have French oak, American oak, and Joel, you want to take a shot at the third one?
Ooh, I know this Hungarian oak.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Joel's Hungarian, so.
Is it really? Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Do you got? Is Hungary known for like a large amount of trees? Like why Hungarian oak?
Joel, I'm going to let you take this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hungarian oak
is
known for being, a little brooding, a little shy at first, But, you know, when you push past that really rough and tumble exterior, you get to just a
I'm sorry.
warm,
I apologize. for asking. I
kind,
shouldn't have asked.
very sweet interior,
asked
and
it.
that's what a lot of winemakers are looking for from their oak. So that's
That is
a little bit about, not to steal your thunder, Colin, but a little bit about Hungarian oak and
Listen,
Hungarian things in general.
I couldn't have said it better
Thanks,
myself.
Joe.
So no, I'm sure there's an actual reason, but my research did not take me down the Hungarian oak as opposed to, you know, do they have oak trees in Hungary? Obviously, but you know,
I have no idea. I'm not going to lie to you anymore.
well, they have to. I mean, you're getting Hungarian oak barrels, so at some
The
point,
answer
you
to that
have to-
question is yes. It's like unless they're lying for a very long time.
All right. So the second tier of the quality and how you get oak into wine, we're looking at it's still wood, but it's not barrels. So you're looking at oak chips, oak staves. So they're still using toasted oak, but they're not actually putting the wine into oak. So you're still getting a lot of those toasty flavors without actually the expense of the barrel themselves.
I was gonna guess that was the cheapest
Same.
way. Do they just like
Yeah.
drop it in the wine and it soaks in
Yeah.
the wine and then they like filter it out?
Well, so the if it's a stave or something, a stave is just one piece of a barrel.
Oh, they just
Yeah,
take
so
it
they
out,
just
yeah.
take it out.
I can add something.
Yeah,
Please.
please.
It's okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh,
please.
yeah,
Oh my God.
please.
So when I made homemade
Yeah.
wine, I couldn't afford
Yeah.
the barrels. I couldn't afford the wood. So
I would be
I got a
shocked.
bag of, it's basically oak sawdust that I put in there
Sure.
and, filtered out.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you put
Yeah.
contained in something and you put it in almost like a tea bag, or like you put it in there and filtered out?
Nope, just dumped it in because you end up filtering the wine
Gotcha.
out and stuff like
Yep.
that. So.
For
That's
sure. And
interesting.
this,
So how long?
sorry,
Sorry,
go.
I'm so interested in
Yeah,
this. How
no,
long
go.
would you kind of treat it
Totally.
with that? Like, would you leave it in there for a while, or was it a pretty quick process?
Close to 2 weeks when I was doing the home wine making. So, I mean, I'm sure the bigger wineries do it for a lot longer.
Sure.
Well, and I feel like, and Colin, you probably can talk to this. I think in the past, when we've experienced a wine that feels like it used oak chips or anything like that, it almost has like a kind of like when you add artificial flavoring, it ends up being stronger, so you don't leave it in as long because it's soaking and it's like more aggressive in the flavoring versus like the natural, just like osmosis of the barrel being like, it's like 2 weeks versus something aging in a barrel for 2 years.
yes, a lot of it is a style choice too, because you can get like staves or chips at different toast levels. So, if they want it super toasty, then, they can use more staves, or there's a lot you can do to play with the amount or level of toast. And that actually brings me to our cheaper options, which is the oak extract, which is an option. And it's I didn't even know you could have oak extract. I looked it up. It's literally like vanilla extract, but it's the flavor of an oak barrel.
I feel like we've had a couple of those.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, and the oak powder is also another option, and these are usually used for more of the mass-produced wines, just because of the economy that you have with these cheaper options. So usually, like when you are able to taste kind of that fakey oak, they're using the very cheap end of the powders or the extracts, just to only because they want it to taste like oak with no real. There's nothing behind that. They just know that wine should taste like oak, so they add oak stuff in there, which usually doesn't turn out very well.
But it feels like it could make sense on either end of the. I feel like if you're like small batch producing and you're starting off and you're really putting your eye on the flavor, then you could use something like that because like you're super focused on it, and you of course Matt can't fill his basement with like 20 barrels that he brought in from France. So that like totally makes sense. And he's going to have a laser focus on the quality of that wine. And then the flip end of that spectrum is massive company making millions of bottles of wine and
Leaning
mass
on
producing them.
They just want it to taste oaky. Sure. Absolutely.
Right. And like they're using the same exact formula like Bud Light everywhere and getting like the same exact taste everywhere.
Yeah, of course. With anything, it's all about how you use it, the attention you pay to it, and I would totally agree. Especially at the mass end, they're just throwing it in there because they want their wine to have some kind of oaky taste. They don't really care how it gets there. So, and that is my little spiel on oak and how it gets into your wine.
Well, that was super interesting.
I have a question.
Thank you, John.
Uh-oh.
This is randomly, it popped into my head. So
Okay, shoot.
you mentioned, new oak versus older oak, and it really having a different effect and different, impact on the wine. So, our folks, there must be like almost a natural progression of these barrels. Like if you're a winemaker and you're looking for that effect of the new oak, you maybe only get, I don't know, I'm making up a number. It's like racing tires. Like you get like 5 cycles out of it, and then you gotta move them along.
Yeah.
Right. And then so if you're one of these folks looking for more of the older, you're looking for the oxygenation. Oxygenation, is that a word? Oxidation?
I think that's correct.
Oxidation? There we go.
Sounds.
So you're looking to buy these barrels from people who have been using them for winemaking, got a couple cycles in them, and now it's looking for your effect. Is that kind of fair? Like there's this whole economy of barrels moving from winemaker to winemaker?
Yeah. No, 100% exactly
That's
correct.
wild to me.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then,
It's so cool.
It is really cool. And again, they're also, we don't have to get into it now, but toast levels on the barrel. So some new barrels will be ultra toasty, which is going to add a lot of flavor into the wine, as opposed to a less toasted barrel, which is going to impart less flavor on the wine. So I just barely skim the surface of barrels in wine. Yeah. There's really a lot that goes into it. It's incredible.
It's intriguing.
Indeed.
Thank you. You got me thinking over here.
Colin, thank you so much. We all learned something, and now I'm like curious. Now I'm going to go into every bottle of wine and be like, was this in a barrel? Was the barrel in the wine? Was there, powder? Like, this is so cool. All right. Well, before we get back into the wine, as is tradition, we're going to play a little game. Matt is a good sport and agreed to playing ahead of time. We are going to play Pick Your Poison.
Pick your poison. Pick your poison. Pick your poison.
So for the listener at home, Pick Your Poison is pretty much just our fancy way of Would You Rather. We're going to give 2 unfortunate wine-related scenarios, and you have to determine which one you would rather deal with. I'm happy to start us off today, guys, if everyone's okay with that. Cool. So here's a scenario, and when I thought of this, I was like, I feel like this is going to really bother Colin, so I'm excited. All right, so
That's always a win.
Yes. Here's the scenario. You have to either walk into a party, and with every conversation that you're having with everyone, you have to explain why the box wine that everyone is drinking is actually a really good quality wine. Or you have to walk up to everyone who is drinking expensive wine and explain to them that the wine that they're drinking is overpriced and really not that good. Which person would you rather be? Someone standing up for the little guy or someone knocking down the big guy?
While Colin thinks about that, I know who you would be, Aaron. As you were saying that,
who would I
be? You
be?
would be the first person. You'd be the guy who's like, no, listen, the friends, like they actually, if you get to know how they make the wine, there's a lot of love in it. I can just see 100%. You doing that.
100%. Wine is wine. Love is love. Wine is wine. It's fine. It's just, does it taste good? Drink it. 100%. That's me. Thanks for doing mine.
Matt, what do you think?
Who wants to jump in? Who are you going to be?
I feel like I would knock the big guy down. I feel like there's a lot of overpriced wine out there. Plus, I'd want to show that I have some sort of education on wine. There's a lot of wine drinkers out there that don't have any. So that's how I would play that one.
I love that.
Yeah, I could see myself
just knock them all
going
down.
both ways, because I agree that if you enjoy it, I could probably find something in there to talk to you about it, but I would probably also pick knock the big guys down, because I totally agree. There's just I hate the pretense in wine. So if you think you're better because you're drinking expensive wine, then I'm gonna come tell you how it's not that great. So I would kind of enjoy that, but that would probably be my first pick. But I could see fighting for the little guy too.
I like that, Joe.
I'm 100% the talking to somebody about how their expensive wine isn't as good as they think, and I'm not gonna name any names. But I mean, I feel like there are some bottles out there that get so popular and they're so trendy and they increase in price for absolutely no reason. And at the end of the day, they're just not that good. Yeah. And like we've proven many times on this show, there's so many better wines at a more reasonable rate, you know? So I'm absolutely in that
Absolutely.
camp.
I like that. That was a great question, Aaron.
All right.
Yeah, I like that one.
Thank you. I was very excited when I came up with the other day. All right, who wants to go next? Who's got one ready?
I could go next. All right.
Go for it.
So you're only able to drink wine with like weird food you wouldn't normally pair with wine, like cereal. You had to that was like no steak or anything like that. It was just things you usually wouldn't pair wine with. Or you can never drink wine with food again. Joel?
Sign me up for the cereal wine, baby. Let's do it. 'Cause I think that'd be fun. And now I'm starting to try different things, random things that you normally wouldn't pair with wine. And I'm that guy who's pointing out what you can drink with these things. I think that's fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm unfortunately thinking myself at like a nice dinner, and now I'm locked in either being the awkward guy who's not eating while everyone else is eating, just sitting there with a glass of wine, and everyone thinks I have a problem, or everyone's ordering steak, and I'm sitting there with Captain Crunch at freaking steakhouse, just being like, this is what I have to do. This is my life now.
Still failing to see the problem here. Still just really looking for the downside of any of this.
I don't know. I think I'm sitting there with a glass and just keeping the glass by myself and not dropping marshmallows in it. I don't know. How you feel, Matt?
I'm open to new experiences, so I'm going to try the cereal with the wine. So
I love that.
Give it a try.
Yes. Yes, sir.
In fact, we're just going to combine the two, and there's just going to be no milk. It's just going to be cereal
Let's try it.
and wine
Oh.
in the cereal.
Joel wasn't
See,
even
there you
thinking of
go.
that. Yeah.
I wasn't at all. I like that. You took it to the next level. That's great.
Yeah.
All right, Colin, this was your nightmare. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
No, I think I'm going just not drink wine with food. I'm okay. I honestly don't usually drink with food anyway. Not that it's not an awesome experience. I just usually don't. So that honestly wouldn't change too much for me. So, but why that? Hey, Cheerios and Cab, that might be the new thing. I don't know.
That actually might work.
Cheerio.
That might work. Matt, you got one for
All right,
us?
another good one. Yes.
Yeah, so would you rather drink a wine where the grapes were crushed by bare feet, knowing it was the most delicious wine you've ever tasted, or drink a wine made through normal winemaking processes, knowing that it would be the worst wine you've ever tasted?
That's so interesting because I've seen so many videos of like the barefoot crushing, and it's like such like an experience, and I'm like, who the fuck is drinking that?
You know, I'm going feet wine. You know, why not? I mean, there's enough alcohol in there. It's probably killing off anything that could harm you. So give me the feet wine. That's how they used to do it anyway.
It's probably helping fermentation
That's
too.
That's exactly right.
That's right.
But look, there's an interesting funk in this. I don't hate it, but I don't know what it is. When you first asked the question, Matt, I thought of all of like the feet I've seen on, you know, when people like take their shoes off on airplanes, and I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's right where my head went. And for a second I was,
There are some bad feet out there.
right? Yeah, for a second I was like, no, I'm not going to play that game. But then to your point, Colin, I thought about at some point it's going to ferment. The alcohol will do what it does. Give me the foot wine.
God, I hate this so
You're
much.
squirming.
I'm gonna. I know. I'm gonna go with the feet wine because in my brain I'm like, I know it's how it was done, and it's gonna be the best wine ever, and I'm just not gonna think about it anymore. I'm going with feet, and that's it. Matt, are you going with feet? This is you gave this to us.
I'm all in. I'm all in on the feet.
In fact, what we can't see in the camera right now is that Matt has a bucket
Squishing.
right below him right now, and he's working
working
on his next batch.
Exactly.
All right, Joe.
I'll make sure you guys each get a bottle.
If you ever send us a bottle, I'm gonna have a severe moment of hesitation. I'm gonna be like, wait. Oh man. All right, Joe, you got something to close us out with?
I don't know if it's going to be as good as that one, but
It's hard to top
that was
that
a
one.
really good one. I'm going to go with this one though. A little hypothetical for you guys. Here's a situation.
wind up.
Pick your poison. Yeah, I know. I got to wind everything up. Pick your poison. You can drink. You have two options. It's for the rest of your life. You drink just amazing wine, but for 24 hours after you finish the bottle of wine, you have the hiccups consistently every like 6 seconds, or decent, the second best wine you've had from a grocery store for the rest of your life and you never get a hangover? Discuss.
Second best.
really?
I have such low standards with wine. The second best wine sounds great, and I hate hiccups. Nothing makes me want to punch through a wall more often than if I can't talk normally. So,
All right.
no.
That was a quick
Second best
answer
wine rest of my life. No
for
hiccups.
you. Matt, you sound like you were kind of in the same boat, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not a hiccup fan either. So, yeah. I go in another room when people in my family have it too.
Yeah. It is a weirdly unnerving sound, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
There is something about hiccups that I hate it. I hate when I do it, and when my kids do it, they can't fall asleep. It's like
Right.
just
Yeah, that
there's
is annoying.
something about. But am I drinking grocery store wine for the rest of my life, or
And second best, not
I
even
said
not
the
even the
second
best.
best. He
Not
didn't-
even
am
the
I
best. The second best.
dealing with awesome wine and a really
best.
miserable day?
Yeah,
next
it's just
day?
amazing wine.
I'm going with the wine. I'll take the hiccups.
I think I am too. I'm going with it too. I'll get used to the hiccups, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I'll
guess
get
you
used to the
could probably
hiccups before I get used to only drinking grocery store wine for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bah. No, because I can imagine Joel saying that because I can imagine Joel just like turning a big joke. I'm also imagining like Colin's going to drink amazing wine, and then for the next 24 hours, he's going to be the most miserable person on the planet as he just walks around his house hiccuping and just being mad.
Colin already gets a 24-hour hangover, so this is just another thing in
That's
his
true.
24 hours.
Might as well just add it
Oh,
on. there.
imagine how bad a headache would be if you were hiccuping the entire time.
Listen,
Like, how bad is your hangover headache?
yeah, no, you're right. The more I think about it, the more hiccups sound even worse with the hangover. If I could not ever have a hangover, no, I'm sticking with the wine.
All right.
Good for you. Good for you. Way to
Sticking with
stick
it.
to your guns.
Yeah, sticking with it.
All right, proud of you.
Thanks.
All right, well, that was super fun. Well done, everyone. That was 4 really good ones, and Matt, that was a great
was
one to
awesome.
bring to it. Thank you for that. That was, and now I'm just really upset thinking about feet. Okay, so before we get into our formal ratings reviews, let's stick our nose, take one more sip. Are you guys picking out anything new? Anyone can jump in.
I'll say I think it's even become a little bit more balanced. I think a little bit of time on this is, it started off nice and drinkable, but now harmonized even a little bit more, to be honest. I think the tannin and the acid work really well together, and they did before, but now it's like the sip is it's really noticed the enjoyment of the sip on the palate more so than I did before.
Well said. Nothing to add.
I'm just really digging this. Like, would you call this like medium plus body? I know we said it wasn't like as full as some others, but like I am really digging this like kind of medium plus body
I'd
of it.
almost go just straight
enough-
medium, in my opinion.
Medium
honestly.
and a quarter.
Is it
Yeah,
just
medium
straight
and a quarter.
medium?
Yeah,
Medium and a quarter.
medium and a quarter.
Medium-ish.
Medium-ish. Yeah, because at 12.5%,
Yeah.
I mean, you're really not dealing with a lot of alcohol. So you wouldn't expect too much body on this one. But it's nice.
I gotta say, it's one of the more crushable
Cabs.
big red wines we've poured out. I'm just like, how much of this have I drank so far, and is that bad?
But it's still
But,
it's
okay.
still. I don't want to discount that. Like, it's present. It's there. It's still got that creaminess. It's a very nice. I don't know how
Oh,
it's
yeah,
doing
absolutely.
that
For sure.
without seeming like a super heavy thing. So it's a very, very interesting.
All right, so we talk about wine differently on the show. We don't use numbers. We talk about the experience of the wine. So if it's not a good wine, it's a drain wine. Dump it. It might be a backup wine. It might not be great. It might not be something you even want to like drink all that often, but it's not trash. And if you're down to an emergency, great, pull it out. It might be your casual drinking wine. It might be one that you have around the house. You like it. It's not maybe something that you need to bring to dinner that you want to give as a gift, but you like it, so you're a drink it. It's a casual drinker. It might be a must-share wine.
Show this off.
One that you want to bring out, you want to bring to dinner, you want to talk about it. Maybe it has a great story. Maybe it is just a really unique flavor. Maybe it's just a great bottle of wine. It's something that you want to share with others. And then the illustrious, the best thing that you could possibly have on this show, it might be a wine fridge wine, which the hosts on the show only get 3. You can only have 3 wine fridge wines. They are your favorites. They don't mean they're the most expensive. They don't necessarily mean they are the most elaborate. It is just your personal favorite wine. And everyone gets 3.
Well said.
All right?
Very cool.
So, thank you. Hey. So here we are. We have the educated guess, Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley. You can get this anywhere for about $25. How are we feeling about this gentleman?
Yeah, but did they like it? It's time for the review.
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, please.
Ooh, go for it. Yes.
I'm going to call it a must share for a Napa cab. I was really impressed. What did it was what Colin said, the low oak profile on it. Really, really sold me on it. So I would definitely share it with a lot of people that I know. So bring it to parties and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Very
would
cool.
totally agree. I am shocked. Is this one of the better grocery store wines we've had? Absolutely. Like I am really blown away. Do I wish I bought this at Total Wine for $5 less? Yeah, of course I do. But I'm so pleased with this. I mean, it's really well balanced, great fruit profile, really nice oak. I think if you need something in a pinch and you're at a store and you see this, grab it 100% of the time. You know, it's just I mean, at 25, it's fantastic. You know, the value is totally there. So definitely a wine I would share and talk about, a must share. Just really surprising.
I want to call out a little bit of Stop Wasting Your Wine history, by the way. Matt, you are the first person to put what we would call a grocery store wine into the must share category, and Colin backed that up. I'm going to make that a three-peat because 100%. Even for the fact that it like I do want to share this because I want to show it off as probably the best example of a very widely available and, like you said, Colin, mass-produced wine that's still really good and maintains a high level of quality. So I do feel a little bit better about, it's a lot easier for me to get to the old grocery store than it is to get to the Total Wine. So lovely knowing that I can pop over there and grab this one quickly. And I might just do that even not quickly, just to enjoy it. So right there with you guys, must share.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm not going to, be a dead horse or a really awesome horse because this is a really good wine. But I will say, again, one, having the wine in your back pocket of I'm going to a store and I know there's something I can grab that is something that is good is awesome. Having a different wine, different category. We've talked about how like Cabernet Sauvignon is all over the place, especially like Napa Valley. This is one that is kind of right in the middle. It doesn't have the high alcohol, which I think is also huge. I think your casual red wine drinkers, there's nothing in this that will offend them with over alcohol or like over fruity or over ripe or whatever. Like this is a nice balance to it. And I will just say, it's not the most important thing in the world, but the bottle is also cool on top of everything else. So there is another aspect of it is a good wine. It's an affordable wine. And if you're going to a party or you're going out to dinner and you want to grab something that has a little pizzazz to it as well, it's a cool bottle. So yeah, I'm right there with you guys. Absolutely must share for a whole bunch of reasons.
Very good.
Beautiful.
Do agree.
Man, what a winner. I'm
so cool.
So shocked.
Shocked.
Man.
Pleasantly surprised.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously goes without saying, not a waste of your wine on any level.
Yeah.
Great deal. Great bang for your buck. Must share. And on top of the bottle of wine being awesome, Matt, it was awesome having you on the show.
So good.
You mentioned
you,
this
guys.
was your first podcast. How are you feeling?
Great. I'm not nervous now, but you guys you relaxed me. So seeing you
it was
guys,
the wine.
I think I had sent a text to one of you guys too via the app and said, how you guys look so comfortable on screen like that? Because doing the videos on my own, it never works out.
It's so weird to get used to, isn't it?
It's like 50
even just
takes.
playing
Takes some
back
time.
and seeing yourself and listening to yourself and all that stuff. It's so strange.
Yeah.
I mean, and we are not patting ourselves on the back at all. At this point, we have spent hundreds of hours sitting in front of these cameras doing a terrible job for 80 episodes.
You're not, though. You guys are doing great. It's great
Thank
watching
you so much.
grow, so.
Matt, before we let you go, one more time, obviously, Instagram, Wine Sergeant. Is there anything else you'd like anyone to know? Anything you want to shout out before you leave?
No, that's it. I'm trying to get the Wine Sergeant off the ground. So once I do, hopefully,
Definitely.
it takes off from there. And obviously, I'll stay in touch with you guys and watch you grow, and hopefully, we grow together. And I have 3 new friends, so I appreciate that.
That's right.
Hey, that's the
right.
best part.
Darn
Yes.
right. Darn right.
Absolutely.
I do not think this will be the
Awesome.
last time that we do one of these things together. This has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely not. Yeah, you're very welcome. All right, folks. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey,
this has been a great
Aaron,
one.
I have a quick question.
What?
So we
What?
know
You're interrupting me.
we know how everybody can get a hold of the Wine Sergeant and talk to Matt. What about if people want to talk to Stop Wasting Your Wine?
Good save, Joel.
Oh man, well, I mean, they can hit us both. But yeah, Stop Wasting Your Wine. Instagram, you can send us an email at stopwastingyourwine@gmail. Stopwastingyourwine.com is up and running
back,
again.
baby.
Thank goodness. We are on TikTok. We are on Blue Sky. We are just all over the place. And if you want to watch the full episodes, you can watch them on Spotify or you can watch it on YouTube. So we are just all over the
We
place.
look the same
and
on both.
Please
of those
reach out.
platforms. So just pick one and go.
Yes.
down.
That's right.
Yeah, we look nice everywhere. But reach out. We love chatting with folks. We love to have new people on the show. We love making new friends. But hey, this was a great one. Until next time, y'all.
Remember, stop wasting your wine.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, bye.